Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us for the Senior Outreach webinar. My name is Katie and I am an Agency Relations Account Specialist at Second Harvest Heartland. Today we have the leaders of our SNAP and NAPS departments, Camille Cyprin and Erin Anderson, joining us to talk more about these two programs. In addition, we will hear from Alicia Gatto-Peterson from the White Bear Area Food Shelf and Jennifer Shetta, Agency Relations Account Specialist for Central Minnesota. We have received many requests for more resources around serving seniors, and so we're also planning on offering a second Senior Outreach webinar later this year. Before we get started, I want to cover some housekeeping details. All of your lines are muted, so you don't need to worry about any background noise. If you have questions during the presentation, please feel free to enter them in the question box. This is located in the control panel, which is that box that's popped up to the right of your screen. We've also saved some time at the end of the webinar to answer any questions. If you'd like to answer a question out loud, you can click on the hand icon in the control panel to raise your hand, and then we can unmute your line so you can ask the question verbally. You can also contact your account specialist after the webinar with any additional questions. This webinar will be recorded and will be available on Agency Zone by early next week. Also, please watch for a follow-up email with a link to the webinar evaluation, a copy of the PowerPoint presentation, and some additional resources that we will mention during the presentation today. And now I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Erin.
Hi, I'm Erin, and I work with the NAPS program, like Katie mentioned, with the Nutrition Assistance Program for Seniors. And I'm just going to start by sharing a little bit about some research about senior health and hunger. And the Spotlight on Senior Health was released in 2013 by Feeding America and National Foundation to End Senior Hunger. This study defined a senior as anyone 60 years old or older, and the findings from their studies showed that between 2001 and 2011, the number of food insecure seniors more than doubled. Currently, nearly 1 in 12 seniors in the U.S. live with food insecurity. And according to the U.S. Census Bureau, an estimated 10,000 baby boomers will turn 65 every day until 2030. The increase in senior food insecurity is particularly concerning given the growing population of seniors. There are many health implications that hungry seniors face. Data collected by National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey shows that seniors who are food insecure consume less calories and lower quantities of all 10 key nutrients than their food-secure counterparts. This chart shows the difference in intake of those seniors. And I won't go through each of these, but I do want to point out that iron and protein are two nutrients known to be particularly important to senior health. And as you can see, food insecure seniors consume on average almost 14% less iron and 12% less protein. So all of these nutrient deficiencies have an effect on the overall health and well-being of hungry seniors. Among seniors, food insecurity is associated with an increased risk of developing negative health conditions. Compared to their food-secure counterparts, food insecure seniors are 53% more likely to have a heart attack, 51.8% more likely to have asthma, 40% more likely to have congestive heart failure, almost 37% more likely to experience chest pain, 21.8% more likely to have limitations in their fundamental daily living activities such as eating, dressing, or bathing, and 21.8% more likely to have coronary heart disease. And these high rates probably reflect in part the challenges these seniors face in accessing nutritious food as well. And just a few other key findings of the study show that food insecure seniors are 60% more likely to experience depression, and seniors with an income below 200% of the federal poverty level are most at risk. And also, households with grandchildren are almost 3 times as likely to be food insecure as those without.
Hello, everyone. We will be talking more about the specific food assistance programs that are available to seniors later in the presentation. But what I'd like to talk about now and what I'd like you to keep in mind throughout the presentation is the reasons why seniors aren't using food assistance. By far the largest reason seniors do not receive food assistance is because they're worried about how it might be perceived by others and embarrassment. You know, if we think about the older seniors, the greatest generation, you know, it's difficult for them to ask for help. They see some of these food assistance programs as welfare, which has very negative connotations to them. They often don't want to be a burden on friends or family. They don't want to be seen in the grocery store getting food assistance. They're very worried about how people perceive them. And there's actually been some surveys done that illustrate this. 76% of senior households reported feelings of being stigmatized for using food assistance. And those that work with seniors with the SNAP program said that 67% of them said the major reason they refused SNAP benefits was due to embarrassment. In addition to stigma, there are some other reasons why seniors don't use food assistance. Unawareness is a big reason. They're most likely to be unaware about the various programs or that they're even eligible for these programs. Other seniors feel that the benefit isn't enough to go through the hassle of applying for benefits. You know, I don't know if you have heard, but quite often I hear the average amount that people get from SNAP benefits is $16 a month. In actuality, in 2012, the actual benefit that seniors got was about $90 a month. So that's pretty significant. That can be a huge supplement to their grocery budgets and help free it up for other things. Quite often, applying for benefits is daunting for a senior. You know, we've trained seniors so well in avoiding scams that they're very often very concerned about giving private information to others. The forms can be very confusing for seniors, and often the questions that are asked on forms can add to that feeling of guilt and embarrassment that they feel for asking for assistance. Quite often making contact can be hard for seniors, making that step of calling, knowing who to call, knowing what information is needed in order to ask about benefits can be difficult for seniors. Also, seniors often think that others are much more in need than they are, and they don't want to take away food from someone else, especially children. And then another challenge for seniors is just the general challenges of their lives. Mobility, transportation, technology can be daunting for seniors. Using email, using online applications, even calling sometimes can be difficult for seniors when they encounter things like phone trees where they have to press 1 for this option or 2 for another option. Sometimes that can be very confusing to them. So these are all challenges that seniors face, and so I'd just like you to keep these in mind as we go throughout the presentation, and put yourself in a senior's shoes, or think about your grandma or a mother and how they would face some of these things if they did need food assistance.
Great, thank you, Jennifer. Jennifer's going to come back later on and talk a little bit more about overcoming some of these stigmas, but right now we're going to go back to Erin, and Erin's going to share more with us about the NAPS program, so the Nutrition Assistance Program for Seniors.
Yeah, so this is the Nutrition Assistance Program for Seniors is a supplemental food program. And it's shortened, we call it NAPS, and it's a program that's under the Commodity Supplemental Food Program, which is funded through the Farm Bill. The government purchases excess farm food to supply the program. And so who can receive food on this program? The NAPS program is for seniors who are 60 years old or older, and eligibility is also determined by household size and income. Seniors must be at or below 130% of poverty level to qualify. We don't publicize the exact dollar amount because we do not require applicants to show proof of their income. However, we do encourage anyone who is 60 or older to apply if they're interested. And the food provided on the NAPS program comes pre-packaged in a box that weighs approximately 30 to 35 pounds. This photo shows a sample of the types of items that are provided, though the specific items do vary month to month. This food is not meant to be everything a senior will need for the month. It's meant to be a supplement and provides primarily shelf-stable commodities. The specific or the types of items you can see listed out there. And NAPS is completely free of charge, and participation in NAPS doesn't affect any other types of food assistance that seniors can receive. We encourage seniors to utilize their food shelf and SNAP in addition to NAPS. There are many options for where seniors can go to pick up their NAPS box after they're registered for the program. We have distribution sites at about 230 different locations across Metro and Greater Minnesota. Clients must apply before picking up at one of our distribution sites, and during their application process we would find the most convenient pickup location for them. And there are a few ways to apply for NAPS. Primarily we take applications over the phone. There's a phone number listed here. We also have brochures and other materials that would work well to hand out to seniors if they're interested. And our phone line works generally as a voicemail where seniors would call and leave a message, and we would return their call and go through the application over the phone. We also welcome walk-ins to our St. Paul location anytime during our business hours, so that's listed there for you as well. And another option is that agencies who are helping get the word out about NAPS can send us referrals with that client's contact information, and we'll follow up over the phone with them. And so there's just a few ideas here about ways that different agencies can engage with NAPS. We'll just go through some of them. You could use our NAPS referral sheets like I mentioned. Those are a great way to connect clients directly to program staff and in a way that puts the follow-up on us instead of on them, which is generally really helpful in ensuring that follow-up takes place. And you can educate staff and volunteers about your agency, at your agency about NAPS so that they feel comfortable in talking about it with seniors who come through. You can share about NAPS when giving info to clients about resources. Like I mentioned, we have several different materials, and you can post that information in your agency. A few other ideas could be dedicating a month to promoting NAPS to all who visit, talking about it on a senior day or at senior functions. You could even request a NAPS program staff to come out to your agency, like if there was an event happening and you'd like someone to kind of come out and share about the program and even take applications in person. We have done that in many various locations, so I'd love to talk more if any of you are interested in that. And if you'd like more information on how your agency can get involved, or if you'd like materials, my contact information is listed there for you as well.
Thank you, Erin. Before we move on to SNAP, I do have a couple specific questions here that are specific to NAPS that I thought we could just address right now. So one is, can you just talk a little bit more about, is there proof of income required for NAPS?
No, we don't require proof of income. So the only documentation that we require for a senior to apply would be a photo ID that includes their date of birth, as well as a piece of mail which shows where they live. So we don't require proof of income. It's based on their word.
Great, thank you. So it would be the same as the food shelves where it's self-declaration. Thanks for that question, Stephanie. And then the other specific NAPS question is, who or where do they actually send the referral forms to? So if we have agencies that have those referral forms that clients can fill out, who should those be directed to?
Yeah, there is a general NAPS inbox that if you'd like to email it, it's actually on the referral form itself. It's at the bottom left-hand corner of, there's like a referral pad that is a tear-off sheet. And so the different options of where to send those referrals are there. If they just have a referral but they don't have that tear-off pad, you could still send it to us. You could either send it to my contact info that's listed there, or you could send it to our general NAPS inbox, which is naps@2harvest.org.
Thank you. And we will send those referral forms out to everybody on the webinar as well, so you'll have that information. So thank you so much, Erin. We're going to go ahead and turn it over to Camille, and she is going to talk more about SNAP, so the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program.
Yes, that's what exactly SNAP stands for. What is it? It is a Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, also funded through the Federal Farm Bill. It's the nutrition title of that, similar to NAPS. Clients sometimes refer to the program or know it as the Electronic Benefits Transfer or EBT card. A lot of folks also often refer to it as food stamps. It is the old food stamp program. Supplemental, part of the name, is really a major tenet of the program. That's why the name has changed at the federal level and the state level to really stress the supplemental piece of it. It is not designed to meet the entirety of one's food budget, though we know it does take up a majority, oftentimes, of families' food budgets. But the minimum benefit is $16 a month, and that can account for almost $200 annually, which is a big difference. It can also be accumulated, and so we definitely encourage folks to apply if they're interested, because $16 may not seem like a lot, but if you have $16 on the ground every month, you pick it up. So that's what we're definitely encouraging folks to participate with. Who can receive the food? So everyone has the right to apply for SNAP, and the small asterisk there is that it's citizens and legal permanent residents. Minnesota also has a special state program for immigrants over 50, but anybody that's a citizen, anybody that's a legal permanent resident has the right to apply for SNAP. Eligibility is determined by household size and income, and only the county can determine true eligibility. So we can tell someone that they're likely eligible or it looks like they'll be eligible, but really the only determination can be made at the county level. But we have a really good idea and a good sense just based on the history of us doing this and working with the county closely, that we can really screen folks pretty closely. So again, household size and income. The income guidelines are at, for gross income at or below 165% of the poverty level. And for seniors who are 60 plus, according to the program, it works off of a net income. So there are deductions that apply for senior households and disabled households that don't necessarily apply to the general public, and you can kind of see what the thresholds are. Again, if folks are close to that, we definitely encourage them to apply, because the county is really versed in being able to identify all the deductions that people are eligible for, to get them eligible for the program, enrolled in the program, as well as the highest benefit amounts possible. So how SNAP works. Sorry, I'm going to go back one more slide and just say that the deductions primarily for seniors are going to be medical expenses. And that includes stuff like Medicare, supplement insurance, prescriptions, mileage, even in some cases. And so we really encourage seniors to apply, because a lot of times they do have out-of-pocket medical expenses that can really help them get underneath that net income level and onto the program. All right, how it works. So the EBT card is where the benefits are deposited monthly. If you recall, the EBT card stands for Electronic Benefits Transfer Card. It's used just like an EBT card, or I'm sorry, a debit card. Also looks just like it. No one is going to be able to identify whether or not it's an EBT card or a debit card. And it can be used to purchase food, seeds, or seed-bearing plants. The benefits cannot be used for hot deli foods, so I always give the example of like going into a Cub Foods and going to get chicken from the deli. The hot deli foods are not going to be allowed with SNAP benefits. Neither is pet food, household goods, paper goods, or hygiene products. It will definitely kick those things out. As I mentioned at the beginning, as we were going through this, the average benefit for seniors, actually the latest data we have is through 2012, and it's $90 a month. That is an average benefit across the state specifically, but the minimum is $16. And again, those benefits can be accumulated for 365 days, so clients can save up their money over a period of time and use it to purchase one big meal, or go to the store one big time, or they can use it monthly. It's kind of at their leisure for 365 days from the date of issuance. Also, would just like to note that SNAP benefits can neither be used for tobacco or alcohol purchases as well. So it's really strictly for the use of food that needs to be purchased and prepared, seeds and seed-bearing plants. The participation in the program does not affect any food assistance currently received, or does not prevent them from receiving any additional assistance similar to the NAPS program. A senior can use SNAP and NAPS and their local food shelf and any other food assistance that they're eligible for, and not have any issues with regard to being disqualified from the program for that usage. How to apply. Excuse me. Clients do need to complete a combined application form. Seniors actually have the option for a shortened kind of two-page or single-page front and back application. The state of Minnesota has been really diligent in trying to increase the utilization of SNAP for seniors, and so they've developed this shortened two-page application to try and take the daunting paperwork out of it for seniors as well as outreach staff. So this combined application form, along with ID and the supporting documents, are submitted to the county of residence. So wherever the county in which the client resides is the county in which we submit the application to. 30 days of pay stubs some of the proofs. 30 days of pay stubs or equivalent for any proof of income. The cool thing for seniors oftentimes is that the counties actually do have the ability to look up or verify Social Security income. And so if that is the only means of income for the seniors, they can kind of bypass this supporting document because the counties can look that up. They'd want to submit their renter mortgage statement, lease, or receipts that will count towards deductions, as well as, again, any health expenses that they have out of pocket that can assist them with the deductions to get them under the net and potentially increase their benefit amounts. They'll also have to do a phone interview with the county. I think one of the misconceptions for SNAP is that you have to go down to the county and wait and have a face-to-face interview. That's not the case with SNAP. Every county offers phone interviews, and we'll definitely assist any clients of ours that you refer to us through this entire process. So with all of that in mind, for application assistance for any of your clients, you can feel free to contact our SNAP outreach team here, and that's a general phone number, the 651-209-7963, and a toll-free number for those who may not be in the Twin Cities local area, that we will assist anybody from around the state that calls and asks us for help. Typically our outreach is done over the phone, so we can assist pretty immediately or pretty rapidly after we get the referral. Or if they come to your agency and you want to send the referral, you can also send us referrals with client information, and we will follow up with them over the phone. Let's see. And what is our role? What Second Harvest does to provide customer service and application assistance to our clients and those that you refer is that we will assist with the entire application process from start to finish. So when I talk about accurate pre-screening, seniors, because there's the screening's a little bit different and there are those deductions, we actually have developed a specialized senior screening tool that we can use and really identify pretty closely to where a senior will be viewed as far as income from the county and make a determination as to likely eligibility and move forward with the assistance. Application assistance and submission, so we will assist through every question of the application. We'll make copies or organize ways to get the supporting documents and submit them to the counties. We have really close relationships with several of the counties so that we know the best way to get the applications in and processed and move them along throughout that system. We let folks know about their interview and what they can expect. Essentially, the county worker just re-goes through the application to just make sure that they're not missing any details. We do case management and follow-up. So the counties have about 30 days legally to make a determination of whether someone is eligible and approved and enrolled in the program or denied for the program. And so we kind of keep on watch to just make sure that everything is going smoothly, and we follow up if there's any issues with that with our county contacts, and kind of are the liaison between the client and the county. We do recertifications, which means that there is a period during this program that folks have to essentially kind of reapply or recertify to signify that they are still in need of assistance. For seniors, recertifications are aligned with other government program dates. If they're on Minnesota Care or Medicaid or anything like that, the recertification dates will align with those programs. If they're just on SNAP, typical recertification happens every 24 months. So once they're on the program, they can not worry about any paperwork for about 2 years, and then you know, kind of reevaluate at that point. And then referrals. So we also make referrals. If someone were to be referred to us from one of your agencies per se, we would definitely check and make sure that they were connected with the NAPS program. Legal aid, if there are issues with a case that maybe the county has denied this person and we really don't feel like, according to our understanding of the law, that they should have been denied, we'll refer them to legal aid so that they can take a closer look at the policies and things like that. Any additional resources, again, like any housing or healthcare resources that we can pass on to the clients, we do that as well. And then on your end, as far as agencies are concerned, data, we track every referral, where it comes from, and how many are referred from your agency, how many we assist with applications, and in some cases we can even identify the number of those that you have referred and have applied that have been approved. And so we are more than willing to provide that data back to every agency on a monthly basis, and can run those numbers pretty quickly and easily. So that's essentially the SNAP program, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, kind of how it works and what our role is here at Second Harvest.
Great. Thank you, Cam. So we did have a couple questions here just about that page where you showed the chart and the deduction for seniors. So I'm wondering if you could go back to that and just describe a little bit more. So the numbers listed here, I'm assuming we're looking at household size, and then these numbers are actually their monthly income. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. So if you look at the far right column there, you'll see that's for seniors, which are identified as 60 plus. So for a single senior, a household of one, after deductions, their net income would need to be $973 or less for the month, and kind of corresponding with each additional senior in the household. So for two seniors, you know, $1,311 after all of those deductions. So there are standard deductions that apply for their housing, their utilities, including phone, and then after the medical deductions, that's what the net income would need to boil down to after all those things have been applied for them to be eligible for the program.
Great, thank you. So I think there was a little bit of confusion just because those numbers are higher on the general side, but this is actually, like Cam said, just what that net income would be for the month. And so you're really, the lower it is, you know, the more people would qualify for it, basically. So thank you for explaining that. The other thing I just wanted to point out again real quickly is that both SNAP and NAPS are for seniors 60 plus. I think sometimes we think about seniors as 65 plus, but just be aware that both of these programs, when we're talking about seniors, we're talking about 60 plus. So what we're going to go ahead and do now is I'm actually going to have Alicia from the White Bear Area Food Shelf come on the line here. And Alicia, I've just unmuted your line. And so what we're going to do, hi, is tell us a little bit more about how this all works at White Bear Area Emergency Food Shelf, what she's actually doing when folks are coming in and she's sitting down and talking with them and screening them. So take it away, Alicia.
Well, hi, thank you. So my role here at the food shelf is to basically connect with every new client, and so I sit down and do, you know, our initial intake and assessment. And my goal when I meet with all of our clients is to kind of figure out if they're fully enrolled. So when I meet specifically with seniors, I have a sheet that I kind of use to just ask if they know about specific programs. So programs like obviously SNAP and NAPS. And then if they don't know about them, I kind of explain them and I talk them through it. And so for NAPS, what I'll often do is I'll pull out the picture, and we saw the picture on one of the earlier slides where it has kind of all the commodity food. And so I show that to them. I talk to them about how, you know, it does vary, but this is kind of, you know, what you will be able to get on this program. And I actually went and I visited. I know some food shelves distribute the NAPS packs at their own location, but we actually, all of our clients go down to the Maplewood location of Second Harvest. And so I actually went and I visited. So I saw the drive-through, I saw, you know, where the clients would come in, and so I tried to describe that to the seniors. You know, we had talked earlier about some of the challenges, so I tried to take out some of the, you know, maybe questions or confusion, and just kind of describe it to them to help, really encourage them to enroll. And the thing that I do with both SNAP and NAPS is I emphasize that with their permission, I will send out a referral and that they will be contacted. And again, this just reiterates some of the challenges and the anxiety for a lot of people enrolling in programs. And I just explained that in a few days you will receive a phone call from Second Harvest. These are maybe some of the things that you want to have ready, prepared to talk about, and so they have that expectation. And then I do, for when someone says they do want to enroll, for NAPS, what I do is I just send an email to the NAPS general email, and I basically include everything that's on the little tear-off pad, the referral sheets that I have, but I just send that off to Second Harvest. And so it's super easy for me, and it's easy for me to track then too by email. And for SNAP, what I actually use is Bridge to Benefits. I use Bridge to Benefits for any of our clients because they have some nice reporting functions. But again, it generates the referral piece that then they can be contacted. And so I know for a lot of our clients, seniors included, that it's one less thing for them to do, and that is just a huge burden that's often lifted. And then a few years ago, our agency, we had an outreach person specifically work with all of the subsidized or low-income senior housing in our service area. And so we really have, in 2013, we saw a huge jump in seniors utilizing the food shelf. And so we've kind of done some of the legwork to get ready, to get seniors into our door, and then we can tell them more about the programs. But I then now work pretty closely with the White Bear Lake Area Senior Center, and so I am in oftentimes quite common contact with the outreach worker there. I have NAPS referral forms at the senior center, and I put on a little sticky with my name, my contact information at the food shelf. So trying to catch seniors in different locations. I'm also working with the YMCA and their senior program too. So that's kind of one of the ways I continue to try to kind of reach out to that population. And I guess that's kind of, in general, my process and stuff. And NAPS is probably one of my most common referrals. So it's because it's easy, and I think it becomes accessible when you kind of explain it. So I think that's all.
Thank you, Alicia. And I think what you said about coming over and visiting, if you do have clients that pick up NAPS here specifically from Second Harvest Heartland, coming over and seeing what the drive looks like, meeting our volunteers over here is something that you would be welcome, that anybody would be welcome to do. So just let us know if you're interested in that. And thank you very much for sharing, Alicia.
Welcome.
All right, so we're going to go back to Jennifer here to talk a little bit more about those stigmas. And we can't quite hear you yet, Jennifer, so I think you may need to unmute your line. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. So I just want to talk a little bit about overcoming some of the stigma that seniors feel for getting food assistance. This is, as we mentioned before, one of the biggest reasons why seniors don't access. I think it's important to remember that both SNAP and NAPS are part of the Farm Bill. The Farm Bill is a large bill that incorporates a lot of different things, but one of the main things it does is benefit farmers because it's purchasing commodities, surplus from farmers. So We all know that when farmers are doing well, rural America does well. So the Farm Bill really does help rural Minnesotans and their communities. For every SNAP dollar that is spent, it puts almost double back into the economy. So I think that's really important to remember as well. In 2013, Walmart reported that they receive about 18% of all SNAP spending. So that equates to about $13 billion. So that is a lot of money going back into our economy. Can you imagine if those dollars were lost, how that would affect retailers? And that's just one of the retailers that benefit from SNAP dollars. Another study estimated that SNAP makes up about 10 to 17% of grocery spending. So that is a significant portion of monies going to retailers, which in turn contributes to all our local economies. The loss of that would be very significant in the economy if those SNAP dollars weren't spent. So the more SNAP dollars that are spent, the more it benefits our economy. It's also important to note that there is enough for everyone. Both SNAP and NAPS are underutilized programs, so participation does not mean that we're taking food away from anyone else. This kind of illustrates that partly to overcome the stigma of food assistance, we may need to have to change how we talk about it. For a lot of seniors, the food stamp label is quite stigmatizing. But Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, may sound a lot better to them. The aspect of nutrition assistance may also resonate with seniors because it sounds more like helping with their nutritional needs rather than being a welfare type program. Also, not just when you're talking to seniors, I think when you're talking to the public as you're doing outreach about your programs and about SNAP and NAPS, I think it's important to change how we talk about food assistance. Quite often when you're talking in the community, you're talking not just to seniors, but to people that have a mother or a father, a grandfather, other relatives or friends that are seniors. When we're talking about food assistance, I think it's important to to talk about those myth busters we've already talked about, that you're not taking away from others, that SNAP and NAPS are part of the Farm Bill, and the Farm Bill does benefit our economy. SNAP dollars going back to our economy is a good thing because that helps retailers, which helps our communities. Rural America benefits in many ways from these programs. You know, things like SNAP dollars can only be used for food. I think that's an important myth-busting statement that people should hear. And then also just talking about how the importance of proper nutrition is important for good senior health. And finally, I just wanted to talk a little bit more about some other programs that are available to seniors. Store to Door is a Metro grocery delivery service. Fees are based on a sliding scale. And they do accept SNAP dollars. So this is a good option for seniors living in the metro area. A great statewide program that is accessible to both you to find out information or for seniors to find more information is the Senior Linkage Line. It's a one-stop shop for seniors, so not only do they talk about food resources, but they're very knowledgeable about Medicare and other programs that are available to seniors. This link provides a link to their website, and you can also call for more information. Hunger Solutions you may be familiar with because they do provide a lot of support to food shelves. They also provide support to the general public. On their website, there is a searchable map, so you can put in a zip code and find out about the meal programs, food shelves available in that vicinity. The food helpline is a phone number, again, that you can call or seniors can call to get more information about the food resources available in their area. The University of Minnesota Extension also provides a great deal of information. Their Live Healthy, Eat Well program provides nutritional information for seniors and other groups. The Senior Bites newsletter is also a great resource for your program. It provides resources, nutrition tips. It is a handout that can be provided directly to seniors. It has a larger font, so it's a little bit easier for seniors to read. And then also it's getting cut off here, I think on your screen maybe as well as mine. But the University of Minnesota Extension does provide a website that is available for food shelves in nutrition assistance. So these are all resources, again, that you can access to find out more information or that you can provide for seniors to access. And hopefully this will help provide more information that will help you outreach better to seniors in your programs.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jennifer. And we will be emailing all of this information out so that you will be able to click on the links and find more information for that. So does anybody have any questions that have not yet been answered? You can either chat in any questions that you have, or you can raise your hand to say it out loud. And if there aren't any questions at this time, that's just fine as well. If anything comes up, you can certainly follow up with your account specialist or with Erin and Cam. We will be sending out more information, like I mentioned. We'll send out these resources, the PowerPoint, and then we'll also be sending you the links and documents to these referral documents, the email addresses that were mentioned on where to share and send that information and all that kind of good stuff. So it looks like we do have a question here. All right, Chris, I've gone ahead and unmuted your line, so go ahead and ask your question. Chris Huntley, can you hear me? Okay, looks like we may not be able to connect to Chris. We're not hearing you here. We have another question here, maybe while we try to figure out how to get Chris on. I have some seniors that live with children, adult children, so they do not have deductions. Can they use the general deduction instead of senior deductions? So I think going back to that SNAP chart that Cam was talking about, Cam, if you could explain to us a little bit more about what that looks like if the household is made up of both seniors and adults that are under the age of 60.
In that situation, because if the entire household is applying for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, we would have to go with the gross income eligibility. The senior income is for households where the entire household applying are seniors or 60 or over. So if there's anyone in the household applying that is not a senior, we have to go with the general guidelines as well as the full combined application form.
And what if it's only the senior applying? It says the entire house is not applying, it would just be the senior.
Then we could go with the senior application.
Got it, thank you. So Chris had a question here about senior outreach in the community, and this is something that we are going to be following up on a little bit more as far as doing another webinar, but just at this point, wondering if anybody Jennifer, Cam, Aaron, or Alicia have tips on best practices for going into the community to do senior outreach. And I think Alicia already mentioned a really great one, which was actually going to senior centers and YMCAs to make sure that they had information. But anybody else have anything to add?
I know that speaking from, again, I wasn't here when the original outreach was specifically targeted at seniors. Well, first of all, hi, Chris. But I know that they actually went to the apartment buildings. I mean, they were on site. They hosted events. They had this big, like, placard with the different programs and all kinds of stuff. So, again, I didn't do that, but I saw the, you know, the work that had been done. So I don't know if that helps or not, but.
Yeah, thank you, Alicia. And Cam, did you have something to add?
Yeah, I was just going to say word of mouth, particularly if you are going to senior centers or even senior living complexes, that, you know, word travels and particularly in particular living quarters, word travels fast with friends. And so if you can really support and assist, you know, seniors, that they will definitely spread the word around to your friends, and so they will essentially do some outreach for you, and that has definitely been a big, I guess, pull for us in our outreach.
Great, thank you.
I have to say,
go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to, that's very true. It's very sweet, actually. A lot of our seniors will bring in their friends, but they talk, they share with one another, and so I don't actually experience a lot of seniors that have stigma, because it's kind of like they all encourage one another, and they're kind of all doing it together. And so, but that is really true. The word of mouth piece is huge.
And I think, this is Erin, just to piggyback off of that, when we've opened like a NAPS distribution site at, for example, an apartment building where they're primarily seniors, we generally have seen growth with the program being there, and so that word of mouth just getting spread and people seeing it and kind of having more of a hands-on experience is helpful. And so I think any time that we've been doing outreach in the community, I think it's helpful to, like Alicia was saying earlier, to really be able to describe what to expect and to have pictures if possible, to make it as tangible as possible so that they kind of feel comfortable going into the process.
Great, thank you all. And I think if anybody has other ideas or kind of specifics around what would it be helpful to know about in this area, please let us know. As I said, we will be doing another webinar on senior outreach and really want to focus more on what are those strategies to actually get out there and get seniors in the door. So if anybody has any feedback, ideas, or just things that you're wondering about and would like us to cover in that next webinar, please do let us know. So I'm not seeing any other questions right now, so we're going to go ahead and wrap up. But if you do come up with anything you'd like to ask, please feel free to reach out to us, and watch for an email either later today or tomorrow with that link to the evaluation and then all of these great resources that we have just been talking about. So thank you again for joining us, and have a great rest of your week.